is the local gold mine that is just upstream from the community here. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. And we also, another thing that we did in this section of the trip was we examined the infrastructure and brainstormed possible solutions for the communities. And so the initial impressions that we have of Quackengrone, it's transected by a dirt road that runs all the way to the Saramaka River, and this road is heavily used, not just, largely not by people of Quackengrone. There were few vehicles in the community, and the people who were transported back and forth were people who were using the river to go upstream, miners, other people that were transporting goods, people that were picking up residents of the community to go work in the mines, and other things like that. Another initial impression was the importance of this structure right here. It's the community center, it's the guest house. This right here is the guest house, the store. This is where the community gathers to meet, play bingo. So this was kind of a town center. And the guest house was run by Mevrouw Zalman, Kenneth's sister, which is kind of an important relationship to understand. There are approximately 10 to 15 rooms with various layouts. It was $5 per day, providing rooms, showers, intermittent showers, I should say, and food preparation. I'm supposed to add a picture of food and Mevrouw Zalman. I don't have a picture of Mevrouw Zalman. So this is a meeting that we had with the Department of Natural Resources and I Am Gold. And again, the Department of Natural Resources is an agency within Suriname that oversees many different things, including water allocation. So during the dry season, they try and deliver water to as many communities as they can reach. However, they can only provide for about 1/10 at most of the demand in these communities. And so they happen to be delivering water on this day that we came to visit. And so we were able to talk with them. Also, I Am Gold, the local gold mine, which is a subsidiary of Cambior, or used to be named Cambior. The names keep switch often. And their community development team decided to come as well to this meeting and chat with us. And so that's me on the right-hand side. The next two guys are from DNR, Department of Natural Resources, and then the two guys next to them are from I Am Gold. And so at this meeting we talked about, this was literally within 20 to 30 minutes of our arrival in the community. And so we had really no appreciation or grasp of what the community actually thought at this point. We were kind of plunged into this discussion. So we really just were trying to find out the nature of these water truck deliveries and try and understand the relationship that I Am Gold had with the community. And so it was a little difficult to really be able to judge what they were saying at the time. But it was useful in that they demonstrated some interest, at least at face value, to interact with EWB. And at the end of the meeting, we decided to try and continue the conversation because we didn't get very far with DNR when we returned to Paramaribo at the end of our assessment trip. And so we received contact information from them. We also established a meeting to take place later on the trip with I Am Gold. So we took this is just a brief overview of a tour of Quackengrone that we took, looking at the various infrastructure. And a lot of the discussion of infrastructure and the actual engineering components for this project we're going to talk about next week, because this is really designed to try and give you the background information so you can appreciate the details of the infrastructure discussion. But just real quick, that's actually Guido in the lower left-hand corner, walking underneath or walking towards the structure right there. And this is an efficient rainwater catchment system that was designed by a missionary group, and this is at the school in Quackengrone. And this is a drilled well that is no longer in use in Quackengrone. And so this is the Saramaka riverfront. Again, we saw that winding brown river, and this is, it's just apparent, you can see what's going on here. River commerce. These are miners that are getting diesel fuel to power their outboard motors so they can go upstream. This is the store, or that building is, that's It's also the primary port for Quack to get upstream to see the rest of their partner communities, Commissars Condrey and Maki Creeky. And so it's very, the miners and the other people who are part of this riverfront are very much at the same time occupying the same space and interacting with the community. And so that's an issue that we haven't talked about a whole lot in this project, but it is something that we should think about when we're designing any sort of filtration system or potable water supply system.
I would add that they are not necessarily invited guests. They're, I think they just travel through there, and the community, it seemed like for the most part the community tried to ignore them, but they do have an impact on the community as well in terms of traveling through there and using the resources.
And so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is Quackagrown Bingo, and this is played almost nightly underneath that shelter that I showed you earlier. And this is, just a chance for the community to get together. But really, the rub for us, the important thing for us, is it demonstrates that there's a flow of actual currency within the community. And so the average prize, I would say, was around 30 SRD, 30 Suriname dollars, which translates to about $10. And the money largely probably went in a circle of people winning the money and then just betting it again, and the money just kind of going around within the bingo hall. But it's important to think about, well, that's $10 that was used that night that could possibly go towards, who knows, it could be put towards operation and maintenance costs for a river filtration system, replacement parts, that kind of thing. It's just important to think about that there was money kind of flowing around the community a bit. And so the next morning, we traveled upriver, and the mode of transport that is traditionally used is these long canoes that are about 3 or 4 feet wide, powered by outboard motors. And this is George King, also known as King George, and he was our primary boat pilot for the trip. And it's just kind of a cultural note. It's customary to reimburse the people who are driving you in the boats. Sometimes it could be easy to forget that, and so it's important to remember that as a consideration. And so, again, we went south along the river from Quackagrown to Commissars Condrey. And so, go back. It's thinking. This is what Commissars Condrey looks like. Maybe we're not going back. Anyways, I can talk to you about what this is. This is, we walked around Commissars Condrey. We looked at oh, there we go. Oh, all right. There we go, okay. So we had our initial meeting with leadership in Commissars Condrey. Kind of the key people that we were talking to, again, George King. King George was a leader in the community, kind of a lead opinion holder. And Basha Vitellius, he's not in this picture, he's pictured in another slide. But the meeting really was about the community voicing their concerns, just really sharing their problems, concerns about diarrheal illness, rashes, and just a chance to get their voice heard. This was the first time on the trip that we actually had a chance to meet with the community. And so we met underneath this shelter. There were probably 20 to 30 people underneath the shelter and just around the shelter. It was notable that there were very few women around. We were told this was because we ourselves didn't have any women in our group, and it was not appropriate for the women to come out while we were there. Again, that's third hand, fourth hand from someone who's not a part of the culture, so it could have been a different reason. But then at the conclusion of this, they decided that it was all right for us to look around, to take some water samples, and get an idea for what the infrastructure looked like in the community.